Welcome, welcome, everybody. Welcome to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, JB, and I'm so happy to be back in the studio, back home after 12 days of traveling. I hope you caught us while we were on location, or maybe even saw some of our replays as we were in Indonesia building our Classroom of Hope. It was such an exciting adventure as we really stepped into Igniting Humanity, traveling overseas to Lombok, Indonesia, where we built a two classroom school, the possibilities in the Ignite Humanity School of Hope. It was an incredible experience meeting the children, meeting the principal, the Minister of Education, and working with our partners, Classroom of Hope, as we built schools to ignite humanity. And that's why we're here. We're talking about ways that each and every one of us every day can just step into the opportunity to ignite humanity in our lives and in the lives of others. And it just starts with one person, one idea, one vision, one trajectory at a time, and we can make a massive difference, a ripple effect that moves throughout people and makes a difference in people's lives. And I'm so blessed and just filled to the brim with excitement and just gratitude for being able to build the school, spend some time in Indonesia in another culture with other people learning new things, and then of course to come home and be grateful for everything around me and be back in the studio right here with each and every one of you. Well, we're here Monday to Friday, every single morning, 9 a.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Eastern on Traverse City, talking about ways to ignite humanity, and every one of us can do that. And we can do it in small incremental ways. And I have just come on the show and share ways that they are igniting humanity that was really sparked by their Ignite moment. We all have an Ignite moment that changes us and wakes us up and gets us moving in a direction of newness. And that newness creates a magnificent trajectory for other people, and our guests love to share about that. So today's guest, I'm going to let you know, is a wonderful lady, someone I've just spent so much time with and enjoyed being with. Jacqui Bishop is an adventure author and nervous system regulation expert who left her career as an attorney to help women unfurlough into their vibrancy and thrive. Jacqui mentors ambitious adventurous spirits to skillfully dance with dynamic interplay of nervous system so they can spend less time hijacked by the chronic stress and more time connected to their innate vitality and pleasure. She's the host of the Thriving Leader interview series and founder of the Art of Thriving program, which helps women rewire for more vibrancy, power, and delight in all aspects of their life. Love having her here. Welcome, Jacqui Bishop, to the show. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me here. It's great to see you.
Absolutely. And I love that you're outdoors. It's a beautiful day. It's just so great to see you in nature. I think that that's part of thriving. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm on vacation in Napa Valley this week, and I've just been seeping in nature, it's been incredible to be in the warm sunshine under the trees and really unwinding.
Well, that's dedication for joining us while you're on vacation. So we so appreciate that. It's interfering a little bit with your vacation, but I know people who love to ignite humanity, they just do it innately. They do it all the time, and it's just part of their existence. So thank you so much for
Absolutely.
being here.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Let's talk a little bit about what you're up to and the ways that you like to ignite humanity. You're very much showing women how they can step into their vitality and really enjoy every aspect of their life. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I am helping people reconnect with pleasure after chronic stress, right? As an attorney, even just as a student before I was an attorney, there is just this intense expectation of productivity and achievement, right? And like often you can just get so deeply ingrained in that world that you forget about the rest of it, and your body actually can shut down and stop having the capacity to experience pleasure. So this chronic stress, I've just been so interested in it and just studying it for years now, in that it is this nervous system dance, like you said in the introduction, this dynamic interplay. And if we're chronically stressed, it's so hard to shift from one nervous system state to another and to get back to our innate baseline nervous system state that allows for things like satisfaction, pleasure, joy, happiness, these things that are really aspirational, but not often experienced.
Yeah, it's interesting how sort of the teeter-totter has become unbalanced. When you think about maybe generations ago, there was a lot of joy and pleasure and appreciation for life. We had a lot of Sundays off and afternoons off and time with the family. And stress was, not so much, where it's like it's almost changed position, where now there's a lot of stress, and time with the family, time outdoors, time
Mhm.
just enjoying ourselves is less and less. Do you have some suggestions on how can maybe rebalance a little bit or move the needle in one way or the other, just so they're experiencing more joy in life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the first thing is to reframe the issue, right? Like often it's presented to us as a situation of work life balance, right? As though you do work and then you go do life at a different time, instead of like always we're in life, right? And so always there's an opportunity to be regulated in what we're doing and to have this resilience to shift back into the state where we can feel satisfaction, pleasure, and also access to our executive functioning, our creativity. When we are getting cues of safety to our nervous system, we can access being better at our jobs or at home life or whatever aspect that we are happen to be in that moment. So I think that's a really good, really important first step, is to reframe it as not work-life balance, but as dancing with that dynamic interplay, because we're always going to have the opportunity to be shifting back and forth in nervous system states.
Yeah, and the truth is, like, work-life balance is kind of an oxymoron a little bit, because life becomes the most important thing. Life has to be at the forefront, not necessarily work. And so when we're bringing balance into our lives and we're bringing our nervous system back into a steady state, it allows us to move forward, it allows us to be creative and to do the things that many of us, including yourself, are feeling called to ignite others. Can you share some ways that your program and the people that you work with, how you feel there is this ripple effect to ignite others and support them in having that thriving life?
Absolutely. When people learn how to regulate their nervous system and build that skill, then they're able to access their creativity and their courage more often, right? Because if we are stuck in survival mode, like when the nervous system is in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, then we're less likely to speak up when the opportunity arises, and we're less likely to take bold chances. We might be doing things through like adrenal stress, push, 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 but that like passion plus courage is more likely to be accessed in a really like authentic and effective way when we're regulated in safety. And when we're regulated in safety, we are communicating better with other people. We're less triggered. We can bring our dreams to fruition with more ease
Mm.
and grace.
Now, you've
So
shared that you've been studying chronic stress for the last little while. Is there something about chronic stress that you've learned that's kind of interesting and a juicy tidbit fact that you could give us that some of us may not know?
well, there's a Gallup poll out recently that mentions that worry, stress, and anger among women is at record highs since they began tracking it a decade ago, right? So there's this uptick in worry, stress, and anger. Um, and, especially during the pandemic, 2/3 of women said their stress and or anxiety increased during that time, based on an Athena Health study. So we have this this epidemic of stress and
Yes.
this normalization of it, even though our natural baseline is the opposite of stress. And we are stress is an activated state that like we get hijacked into, or like we get shifted into based on stressors that come from our outside environment. And then we have a stress response in our body. And not many of us are taught how to work with that stress response once it's happened, right? I've been fascinated by this concept and practice of completing the stress cycle. And once I learned this, I was just blown away, because you can literally change how your body is reacting to the world around you in 30 seconds. And have
Oh,
like
tell us the stress. Is it called the stress cycle? You said.
yeah, completing the stress cycle. And so to do this, you make the distinction, first of all, between the stressor, which is either the aspect of your environment, external or internal, that is resulting in a stress response in your body. And so this stress response, often it gets triggered, but we've been socially conditioned not to complete that cycle. If you think of toddlers, for example, they will melt down and have a total tantrum, and boom, they're done, and they jump up and off they go and play, right? But as adults, it's really not appropriate in most situations for us to have a tantrum, and then which would complete our stress cycle. But there's ways to do, there's ways to do this that don't involve that, and or you can have a tantrum in private and it'll work. But there's much more subtle things we can do, like if we're in the workplace, or a situation where we're in a social setting, and we don't want to trigger other people to have their own stress response. So I can walk us through some of those if you'd like.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It just made me think years ago I went to an event, it was a retreat, and it was, all kinds of different things. And they actually had a punching bag hanging outside with a baseball bat beside it. People would go out and like hit the baseball bat against the punching bag. And I thought, well, that's so weird, until I actually went and did it. And I was like, well, that's kind of rewarding. That kind of got some stress out. So actually, you made me think of that point. So yes, walk us through it. I think it's fascinating.
All right. So you can complete all different kinds of stress responses. And so I tend to focus on some of the emotional ones, like let's say frustration. Like that's probably what the punching bag and the baseball bat at that retreat were for, anger or frustration. For those ones, I tend to advise either a pillow beating. So, to get that anger out on a pillow, 30 seconds, just set a timer and do it. And then the important part is noticing how you feel in your body before and then checking in afterwards, right? And there's this process called titration, where like you only go so far as is right for you in that moment, right? So it's like, if it's not going to be helpful to like hit the pillow for 30 seconds, if you feel like that will like take you somewhere where it's not, where you don't want to go right now, then you watch for that. You titrate in your body to like stay in just the right amount of completing the stress cycle that's right for you. The other one for anger and frustration is called the wood chopper. And you basically pretend you're holding an axe, and then you put the axe over your head and you swing it underneath your legs all the way through. And you just repeat that for 30 seconds. And and then do a full body scan and notice how you're feeling. So I encourage the audience that's watching this live right now, if you have some frustration, try out the wood chopper.
I love that one.
Me too.
More than anything, right? It starts to make you laugh a little bit after all, and then you sort of get a whole new response going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's also really good ones for grief. Like often you'll see in some countries, when women are grieving, they'll get down on their knees, and wail and put their hands up. And so that's actually a way of completing sadness and grief. So when you're feeling that emotion, you can wait. You can do it on the spot if you recognize it on the spot. But the thing about completing the stress cycle is stress doesn't do linear time the way we do, the way our logical minds do. So you can complete the stress cycle on something that's happened in the past, which is great because if you're chronically stressed and haven't been completing the stress cycle, you may have a lot of completion to be doing, right? And so it's okay to do it later if you need to. Like if you're not in an appropriate place to start chopping with your invisible axe, you can save that for when you're at home. So grieving, down on the knees, hands in the air, and just let that sadness come up and out as opposed to holding it in, right? Often we curl up when we're like feeling sad. So it's kind of like that unfurling and allowing it to flow through and complete. Let's
really
see.
good suggestions. I really like, I think these suggestions are great because you're right. There's a lot of times that we just suppress the stress. We just grit our jaw and push through it. But I also liked what you said, that it's not linear to time, because if you're feeling stress about something that happened a few days ago, you can do these stress releasing exercises to let that go today. So I think that's fantastic. You have any more to share?
Absolutely. Boundary violations, right? Oftentimes we say yes when we really wished we'd said no. Like, oh, can you work this weekend? Sure. When you're like, wait, like why did I agree to that? And so we can go complete that stress cycle by saying no. And we can do this in private, and you just put up your hand and say no, 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 no for 30 seconds. And you're showing your nervous system that you can do that it's okay, that you'll survive that, and you are finishing that stress that you experienced from saying yes when you
That's a really good point. Yeah, sometimes we have to practice saying no. So I like that you're teaching that idea that it's okay to say no beforehand, teaching yourself what it feels like to say no, that no is okay to say, so that next time there's a boundary, you're able to say no. Great one. I like that one.
There's one for when you're feeling really wound up. Like maybe you have a song stuck in your head on repeat and it's like only one line of it just over and over and over really intensely, or you're having sort of these thoughts that keep repeating. And that sort of, what do they call it? Like where you're just sort of wired and tired. So if you're feeling wired and tired, this one's super simple. You simply squeeze all of your muscles at the same time and like try to do that for 30 seconds, right? So even get your face in there and your stomach and your legs and your toes and just like, and then release. And that shifts your physiology by completing that wound up. And you can do that over and over again and keep noticing the changes in your body.
Yeah, I learned that one.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I learned that one years ago, like when you can't fall asleep, to just like squeeze every muscle in your body and try to like squeeze every single one, your calves, your toes, your butt, your thighs, your stomach, your ears, your neck, your shoulders, and you just try to squeeze the whole, and then you do this big release and you let it all go. And I do mine 2 or 3 times, and then I feel like, okay, then I can get more relaxed and more sleep. That's an excellent one.
Yeah, it's a really good one for sleeping, like you mentioned. And when you're needing to come down off of an adrenal push. Another one. I
want to ask you, like, get one more for sure.
Oh, well, for irritability, right? Like we need to watch those toddlers and learn from them. And so if you have the space where you can go and throw a tantrum, like you can go on your couch or your bed and lay on your back and hit the bed with your fists and with your heels. So you're just kind of like this for 30 seconds. And that one can be a whole lot of fun because it really takes that action, right? All of these, you take an action, you move your body. When you look at animals, like a deer that's been chased, this is like a classic example, they shake after they escape, right? Because they're completing the stress cycle of fleeing for their lives by like it out.
You know what I like, Jacqui, is the first of all, the permission that you're just validating everybody that we don't have to have a stiff upper chin. We don't have to like push through it all the time. That it's actually okay and normal because inside of our bodies, so much is happening due to stress or anxiety or anger or grief or frustration. And we're just letting that all fester there instead of what you're suggesting, just releasing it, releasing it, releasing it, and really doing something, such a gift to the body to get it out of the body and to move it through energetically. And I think we could talk a little bit about the energy of stress. You want to share a little bit about that?
I guess I think of it more as like the physiology of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, certainly energetically stress is depleting, and also stress takes up space that could be used for a different other types of energy, creative energy, the energy of fulfilling emotions, and that sort of happiness. So yeah, energetically it takes up a lot of space. It takes up a lot of you know our bodily physiological energy also, that could be going to something else if we can complete the stress cycle and get back to that baseline.
And let's talk a little bit about, now that we're through the stress, what's
Mhm.
the other side of that? The
Yeah.
joy, the pleasure, the happiness. Talk a little bit about that, because once you've completed that, emptied out that container of stress, let's fill it with joy and pleasure and happiness.
Yeah. And so for reconnecting with pleasure, I think of it as four key principles, right? We've already talked about completing the stress cycle. We've touched on leveraging your nervous system, but there's also the concept of de-armoring, which is like something near and dear to my heart. That there's this practice, this set of practices that exist where you can basically rewire your body for more pleasure. You rewire your body to liberate yourself from social conditioning, from past experiences, from all of these shoulds, woulds, all these things that like we end up conforming to, whether we mean to or not, and end up having this like numbing or like checked out effect on our body. So de-armoring is this, I wish every person in the world knew de-armoring like it was taught to us when we were kids, and that we can always have it as a tool. And there's physical de-armoring and emotional de-armoring. But an example of physical de-armoring is like, let's say your hand is numb, you can't feel it, or it's painful, or you don't like it touched, right? And so de-armoring is this process, physical de-armoring is this process of going to that area with curiosity, gentleness, and discovering the cues, the information, discovering what your body is telling you through that numbness, through that pain. And then through that exploration, the gentle receiving of information from your body, you end up getting through that numbness or through that pain and reconnecting with pleasure. So it's massively important, and I'm a huge fan of de-armoring.
Mm. I haven't heard of it used as that term, but I know years ago when I hurt my back, I just spent time loving it, loving the cells, loving the bones, loving the muscles, like just sending love, asking for forgiveness, just really taking the time to listen to the messages that my back was giving me. And so I can really relate to that. We have to take time to listen to what's hurting and what's working within our body. And if we take that time, it will really give us the messages that we need to hear. Such a beautiful, beautiful reminder that we all need to know about how important our bodies are. I just was at a conference. They said it's not stocks and bonds and real estate anymore. People need to invest in their health and their longevity and take care of their bodies. It's so true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the fourth key principle, engaging your primal brain. So often we are so caught up in our prefrontal cortex and this logistics and reason that we forget that we have these other aspects of our brain that are so important for experiencing pleasure. So when we can engage our primal brain, we do this by like giving signals such as candles, right? The primal brain responds to fire. Ritual. When ritual is happening, the primal brain is like, oh, something important is going on. Like, let's tune into this. As humans, and we have this, we're wired for ritual and connecting with other humans. And things like art, right? When you look at art, your brain neurocepts, or your nervous system is neurocepting cues from that art, and certain art is going to engage your primal brain. And when you can get into that shift, when you can shift into your primal brain, you're going to have so much more access to states of pleasure.
Such good conversation. I absolutely love all the juicy tidbits you taught us this morning. So many good things to implement into your life and to create a state where it's best for you to go out and really make a shift for you, because when you do the things for you, you do the things that helps others. We love it so much. We're going to put up on the screen below where people can find out more about you, and of course, more about your upcoming book. You've got a book coming out next year, and I love that people can reach out and find more about you. Thanks so much for being here. We love having you. Big blessings to you. Have a great, great day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lady JB. It was wonderful to be here.
Thanks, Jacqui. Big hugs and kisses to you. That was a great conversation, folks. I hope that you gleaned a lot of wonderful information, because it's true. We don't need to be in stress all the time. We need to move through it. And Jacqui gave some great ideas that I haven't heard of that's actually going to help benefit you and your stress receptors, so that you can calm down your nervous system and be in the best state. Be in your best state so you can go out and do things to humanity. Well, if you'd like to know more about what we're up to, go on over to our website and check out what we're doing. You can always find out more at ignitehuman.live. And of course, you can see what we're doing. And one of those big things is building schools. I'm so happy to announce that we're just back from Indonesia, built our schools with our recycle blocks from the plastic pulled out of landfills. It was a fantastic, amazing initiative, and all it made me want to do is more. How can we build our schools? So please, if you'd like to be a part of what we're doing and donate to our initiative, please go to our website in our link below. Every single dollar you donate helps us buy a brick and build a school in another third world country, so we can help kids and ignite literacy. And last but not least, if you'd like to watch any of our episodes, this one and any other, go check out our website, and you can sign up for free to witness and view any of our current or past episodes to find out more how you can ignite humanity. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.